Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of What Lies Ahead, a conversation that the Bay Club is having with its members in the community about opening up our clubs and becoming part of phase one in the essential businesses. I'd like to start today introducing a group of members and our associates from the East Bay clubs. Anybody who's been watching the series What Lies Ahead knows that these are my home clubs and the ones that I'm most fond of, as I was a Walnut Creek member for 13 years before it became a Bay club. And I'd also like to just shout out really quick one of the members who wrote in recently. David Potnoy wrote in this morning and had really kind words to say about what he's been seeing on What Lies Ahead. And we always just like to say thank you for anyone who takes a moment to write into the new normal at bayclubs.com. So with that, I'd like to start introductions. And my first introduction today is going to be Joanne Burson.
I am a 22-year veteran of the Bay Club and formerly Club Sport in Pleasanton.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Next up, I'd like to introduce Craig Rasmussen.
Hey everyone, I'm Craig. I'm the Assistant General Manager of Fitness at Bay Club Fremont.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce one of our members, Beth Mikesell.
Hi, I am a longtime member of was Club Sport Bay Club now in Walnut Creek. I joined in 2004, raised my family there, just love it, second home.
Thank you for joining us today. It's my second home as well. Next up, I'd like to introduce Candy Shukin.
Hi, AGM of Fitness in Walnut Creek, and I've been with the property for about 18 years, home away from home.
Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Stagel, joining us from his office today.
Hi, I'm a physician in Fremont, and most importantly, I've been a Club Sport / Bay Club member for about 25 years. And like other people said, it's a home away from home. I've had many important stages in my life go through Bay Club, and I'm proud to be a member.
Well, thank you so much for giving us your time today. I'd like to introduce another one of our members, Mr. George Campbell.
Hey, Annie. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that. Hi, everyone. My name is George Campbell, and I've been a member of the Bay Club for 23 years. We have had two boys who've grown up pretty much in the club. As soon as they were legal, we brought them into Kids World. I think that was 6 weeks or so, maybe the day before. But it's been such a great community and chance for us to enjoy all the facilities as a family. And while I definitely don't play basketball or lift weights with those boys anymore now that they're 20, 22, I still enjoy the facilities. And I really, so much so that it's been a tough thing to be away at this time and just seeing everybody there, not only the members, but everyone that works there too. So excited for the opportunity to get back there and looking forward to this discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Another member of our team, I'd like to introduce you to Pippa instead.
Hi, everybody. I'm the operations manager in Pleasanton. I've been at the Pleasanton property for about 5 years now, but I did grow up in Pleasanton. My family is members there since I was probably 9, so been there a long time. Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us, Pippa. And I'd like to also introduce you to another one of our team members, Jason Schleger.
Yes, my name is Jason Schlager, Vice President and General Manager of Portland. Very proud to represent the property as well as my team. George and I have been walking into this building for over 16 years now, and very proud and excited to welcome everybody back from our Bay Club family.
Thank you for that. Boss, I think I'm ready to hand it off to you.
Great. Well, thank you to everybody for getting together with us today. I think I'm going to stay up in Portland to start with. So, George, I'm going to start with you. And the Pacific Northwest is new to the Bay Club family, and we've been thrilled to get to know the team and the community up there in Tigard. So, give us your thoughts on what's on your mind and some things we might be able to answer for you.
Thanks, Matthew. You know, I was inspired to write a letter to Annie and talk with Jason just because of everything that you've done, Matthew at the top, and all your leadership team has done to communicate with the members. I think it's been outstanding and really a model. In fact, I used it with my sales team. So Dr. Sagal, watch out, I'm going to send some new folks on to you. But, you know, as a model of how to deliver raving fan service, I think the communication has been excellent. This discussion series has been helpful. Maybe I'm one of the few, but I've watched almost every one of them. The emails, the position you took on how to, whether you're going to bill or give us the option on how much we wanted to pay, I thought was fantastic. And what you've done for the staff has really been great. It seems like you've tried to keep everyone employed, or as many as you could have employed. So it's really commendable, and I appreciate that. And what's on my mind, Jason, this might be for you because I'm looking forward to seeing you on day one of the new world. But you know, a couple of things. When I come in, usually it's during a lunchtime workout, and I have a lot of friends there, and we like moving around from machine to machine, maybe in kind of a circuit type training. And I wonder how that'll look. And then when we're done with the workout, is there still an opportunity to go to the locker room and discuss the world problems with the board of directors that we have back there that really run everything? So, or we think so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, again, we are ready and willing to accept the challenge. Our goal is to meet and exceed the expectation of every member. Obviously, we have certain groups that come in during certain times. I know exactly the crew that you run with during the lunch hour, so I look forward to seeing that as well. The feel and the workout opportunity will remain the same from a physical standpoint. However, going from machine to machine, sitting next to, sharing dumbbells and things like that, we're going to reserve the right, and we're going to make sure that that experience is as safe as possible. If you can imagine a racquetball court, which is about 800 square feet, or if you wanted to take a visual of a pod, our goal is to develop or to establish a toolbox or a pod that has all the tools for a full body workout. So your need to move from station to station will be somewhat limited because we're trying to provide every tool within that toolbox for you to be able to use. So for instance, you're on the hoist machines or you're on the free motion. Free motion isn't a nice straight line. That's going to be a pod in itself. What you can also imagine is, yes, we're going to probably 10 times or more up the ante when it comes to cleaning stations, the ability to clean. We're going to be cleaning more diligently than we ever have. We've always prided ourselves in having a surgically clean facility, something we've always taken pride of. We're going to take that to the next level. So the feel and the flow are going to be opportunities for us to learn, and we're going to give it our best shot, but this is going to be something that we as a company evolve with. At the end of the day, the locker rooms, the way a locker room is set up, going to be a little bit of challenge, but they're going to be readily available. We're going to have people on the front door and the back door, and somebody there to help ensure that the flow, the usage, the towel, you're not going to be able to go and grab a towel. You're going to actually have a towel handed to you. So every single T has been dotted, or I has been dotted, T has been crossed, and we are going to learn together. But those are great points. And again, our responsibility is right now is to give you guys an idea of what's it going to be like when that door's open. And I'm very confident that across our company, we're going to meet and exceed that expectation.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and so the Bay Club community can understand that, you know, this week, the week of the 27th, the week of the 27th, we're going to be rolling out detailed standards for every club, and we'll spend a lot of time communicating. We don't know when the green light is, whether or not it's May 1st, May 4th, May 15th. We are expecting that the green lights are going to come on here over the month of May 2020. And so, you know, our team is trying to prepare for a May 1 to be ready. You know, we're pretty confident that this is going to be an essential services phase 1 recovery environment for those that have done the work. What we're confident is we've done the work, and we'll roll out very specific details to the membership base. We're still crossing T's and dotting I's, and we'll make sure there's huge amount of communication so the safety and that comfort that members need to have will be there with all of the protocols. So George, thanks for your membership over the years, and it's nice to be part of the Portland family. I'm from the upstate New York, so when I come up to Portland, it feels like home to me, so good. All right, Joanne, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being a member so many years in Pleasanton. As you've heard, my entire senior management team lives in the East Bay. So us partnering up with the East Bay has been a high priority of their dialogue with me on a minute-by-minute basis for like the last 10 years. So we're glad to be part of the East Bay. What can we help you with? Tell us your thoughts.
Well, I'm just glad you're there, and I'm glad that I just want to say, since Bay Club took over, we have seen clearly a professional upgrade of staff and hospitality and requests and equipment and everything. So we're extremely grateful that you're in the community. I think one of the questions that I would have, and because I'm very flexible, like I like the yoga part of it, I like the weight part of it, I like the Stairmaster part of it. I would be the most flexible person to come in and they'd say, what's available? I'll take it, you know. I do like the idea of the streaming. I think we're going to have to help people understand what it looks like when they get to the club, right? It's not mentality. They'll think, oh, they're all going to be in hazmat suits, you know, walking around with plastic gloves, you know, with masks on. I don't think that's the way it's going to look. Right. But I like the idea of streaming to everybody within the community and outside the community to really tell everybody what we're doing in a safe social distancing way. Sure. So Pippa, I would just like, if you just give me an overview at what you envision the spaces to look like. And
sure.
be utilized for.
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time in the club with our management team. A lot of tape is going on, much like grocery stores, you see arrows everywhere. A lot of place markers where people need to stand if they're waiting in line to get in. Boxes for group exercise spaces. We have a lot of tape down in our weight room area to ensure this pod concept, so that if you want to reserve a space, this is your space and it'll be your space for that time period. So it's keeping the distance between the people, but also letting it be flexible. And if you want to reserve a yoga space for the day, or if you want to do a Stairmaster for the afternoon, you still have that opportunity, but it's still your space. So you're distant from everyone else around you, but it's still the same club concept that we had before.
It's great. Beth, thank you. We were talking earlier. You look like you have a regal palace there. Thank you for your membership at Walnut Creek. Thank you for being a member for so many years. And tell us your thoughts. What can we answer for you? How can Candy help you out?
Well, I was wondering about wearing masks, bringing our own. Is in terms of what's the experience going to be like when we walk in the door, and about the reservations with the classes. What would that look like? Similar to what we have now for the high demand classes?
Candy?
Yes, that's exactly. I'll answer that question first, Beth. We will be 100% on reservation for all of our properties and all of our different zones or pods or spaces, so to speak. So you're used to signing up for a highly impacted group fitness class in a particular studio. That's what it will look and feel like, which this is a great plug to tell everybody who's watching this, who's a Bay Club member, to make sure you sign up for the Bay Club Connect app. Okay, get that done. And that's how you're going to reserve your space. But we're still working out the details about reservation times for different spaces, what the maximum might be, what the minimum will be. But we're all pretty seasoned with the Connect app and have been building classes for as long as we've had the app. So that is how it will be done. And then going back to just what it's going to look and feel like for masks coming in the door, and this, Matthew might have a couple more points on this, but all of our staff will be provided masks, and they will be required to wear them at all times. Temperatures will be taken when the staff members come in before they work a shift. As far as selling or providing masks to our members, I believe that there is opportunity that we might have them on property to sell in case somebody forgets their own personal mask. But yeah, in general, the highest level of sanitation and safety will be in place, which is going to be required for us to be successful.
Yeah, I think we've really, for Candy, great answers. I think what we've tried to do is follow the grocery store model. It's probably the closest to our world as far as volume of people and how to do queuing and things like that. We get a little bit of advantage because we get to use the reservation system as well. So it'll be like open table. If you can make a reservation, great. There'll be a line for you to go through and your reservation will be ready for you for what you've chosen to do. If you didn't have a chance to make a reservation, then when you show up, you'll queue into a line and we'll let you know what we have available and space available, whether or not it's at that moment. You may say, hey, I'd like to be part of a yoga exercise. And we're like, we don't have a space right now. There will be one an hour from now. Here are the things we do have available, and you could choose those and then jump into that an hour from then as part of it. On the PPE side of the world, as we transition to Dr. Sagal, he's got his ears pinned to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly here. We are going to have our staff required to wear a mask in phase 1. We're going to comply with all local, state, and federal guidelines by CDC. We are going to have our staff go through temperature checks every 2 hours so that we make sure that there's no exposure or anything that's uncomfortable. Any staff member that doesn't want to work will not be required to work. Anybody who's not feeling well, we'll definitely have them stay home. And we've got plenty of team to basically be able to provide the services as part of it. For members, we will have gloves available to them if they want. And we will have masks to purchase. We're asking members to bring their own mask with them as part of it. We're still we'll follow local, state, and federal guidelines on do you or do you not need to wear a mask, indoor, outdoor, those types of things. I think that's going to play itself out here over this next 7, 14, 30 days. And we'll sort of go phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. But the goal is be safe, healthy, allow people to get mental health, physical activity, and slowly build our way back to the world George is talking about, which is that friendly, social, high socialization environment. We'll have a bunch of that to start with, but it'll be a little bit in the new norm to start with in phase 1 to make sure safety and health is the highest priority. So with that, I get to transition to Dr. Sagal. You know, I think every person in this world is unbelievably appreciative of what's happened on the healthcare side of the world. We are definitely not worthy for everything that has happened to try to save this world and this country. So thank you so much. Thank you for your membership at Fremont. Interested in what Craig and I can help you with. What's on your mind?
Well, thank you for those kind words. And, you know, fortunately on the West Coast, we haven't had the crisis they've had in New York or Detroit or New Orleans. So we haven't really been stretched as thin. So, you know, but thank you nonetheless for those kind words. I've really been impressed with the integrity and the transparency and the level of detail that the management team at Bay Club has done. I mean, to me, the fact that you've paid the employees and you've kept them on the payroll through this really difficult time, it really speaks volumes for the level of, you know, for just the classiness of the organization, the sharing the details of the whole transition and the whole reopening process so clearly with the club members is a tremendous thing. And I think this is a huge shift from when it was club sport to Bay Club. We can palpably feel the level of sharing and the level of transparency. I think the opportunity that members had to reduce or pay their dues depending on their level of comfort was also a really impressive move. I love your video streaming. I just made some sweet potato fries based on the on the recipe I got a couple of days ago. Turned out really well. I have a couple of questions. One, I've gone through at the advisory board meetings and so on about the flow. So when we make reservations, my sense is that we would reserve a pod or the type of place that we are going to exercise in. And would we specify, like would I say, I want to reserve a pod for aerobic exercise, or, or say I want to reserve a pod with weights and so on. So would one specify, because obviously you won't have the entire club in a pod like environment, or would we move from pod to pod? Is that how it would be?
Greg, that's a softball for you.
So the way we have planned things out right now is we have what we're calling training pods or training zones.
Uh-huh.
So we have, for example, a cardio zone. Actually, we're going to break it down further at Fremont. We're going to have a treadmill zone. We're going to have an elliptical zone, climber zone. And then we'll have strength zones, 2 different strength zones, and a weight room zone, and probably a stretching zone. So you will be reserving time in a particular zone through the Bay Club app. So again, everybody watching this, if you're in Fremont and you need help with using the Bay Club Connect app, please reach out to me or one of the other managers at the club. So you're going to reserve time in a particular zone. So and we have to land on the amount of time available, but you know what, probably 30 minutes to an hour. And then you'll probably have an opportunity to say book 30 minutes on a treadmill and 30 minutes on the free motion line, for example.
Right.
And maybe 15 minutes in stretching, something like that. And then we'll have, for personal training, we'll still have that available in different areas that are secluded from the main fitness floor. And everything in the club is going to be reservable. So every space is reservable. And then we've got traffic patterns laid out, like Matthew was saying. You know, we've taken our cues from the grocery industry. So you are directed into the club. Your path is directed to where you're going. Your path is directed to how you're coming out. And then, of course, we'll have lots of staff and fitness in particular, cleaning, making sure that there's a buffer of time between time slots where they're going in and sanitizing and cleaning everything that was used, including the weight equipment. So it is going to be very safe. It is very clean now. Our clubs look great right now, better than they even did before. And the reservation system is going to be very straightforward, very easy to use. And of course, we're always there to help out if you need us. And our staff is ready to go. We can't wait.
Great. No, I'm so impressed by the level of detail, and you know, I'm really proud to be even affiliated with this, because I think you all are going to be like leaders in showing the way for other organizations and companies as to how to treat your employees as well as your clients. I have one other question, and this is kind of a difficult thing, and it's a sort of a sensitive question, and I totally realize it's not an easy one to answer. You know, along with the health hits of this big crisis, there's going to be a big financial hit on many of the members. There'll be people who have been laid off. There are people who, you know, own restaurants whose restaurants are not going to be doing so well. There'll be people in other businesses where they're hit, and maybe some of the employers are not as are not thinking so much for their employees as the Bay Club organization is. So there'll be people in various levels of hardship for a while, for some months. Is there a plan or an opportunity, if there are members who want to pay less membership for a while till they get back on their feet, use less of the club and so on, for them to do that? I know this is a difficult thing, because obviously the club has taken a huge financial hit, and for them to survive and to keep things going, you need funds coming in. But I was just wondering if there's a process for a few months whereby people who've really been hit by this financial crisis can have a way to, you know, keep their membership in place till better times roll around and not use it as much, and so on. It's just an open thought in my mind, so I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. So I'll take that one, Craig. That one's got a
I was ready, but you go.
It's a great question, Dr. Sagel. And I think, you know, what I've said since this started is I went to Barnes and Noble. I went into the, how do you handle this for, you know, the basic 1, 2, 3. I've yet to find that book. So I will tell you, Annie and I spent probably 4 hours together yesterday behind the curtain discussing these exact things. Like, what do we do for first responders? right? How can we be a leader in the community by possibly giving a complimentary membership to a single site club for first responders that have worked so hard during this time period, maybe through the end of the summertime? And do we provide that? What do we do for our members that have had this either financial or medical hardship? And what do we do in that situation? And I think right now we're in that soul searching mode of trying to figure it out. It's a tricky needle that you have to thread to figure out how to do the right thing. Our heart's in the right place. I think we'll come out at a good situation, and our plan is to communicate it throughout the week of April 27th. Not unlike what we said is, you can pay full dues, pay full dues. If you can pay 50%, great. If you can't pay anything, that's great. We're going to be part of our family, and we're in, and we're in it all together for the long haul. And, you know, we're so fortunate I think our teams between Bay Club and Club Sport, there was a lot of similarity to the two organizations. It's been great to get to know the members and the team from the East Bay and Oregon. And, you know, we're all just learning together. We've been on the phone. We're still very good friends with Steve Gilmore and Pat O'Brien from Club Sport. You know, they're our landlord at Pleasanton. They've got their operation down in Aliso Viejo. And, you know, I think everybody's just trying to figure out, how do you do the right thing? Because we plan on being here for the next 40 years. And how do we do this correctly so that we're all here for the next 40 years? Or I don't know if I'll make it 40 years, but I'm supposed to make sure that gets handed off to somebody over the next 40 years.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, no, you know, absolutely. And as I said, I totally feel that this is a really difficult area. So I
It's a great question, though. It's what people want to know. It's a great question.
Yeah, it's very complex, and I feel very comfortable that you all have such a level of integrity and commitment, and that you all will figure out the right thing. I have no question in my mind, knowing the, you know, level of commitment you all have to the members. And I mean, you know, I have to say I've worked on a personal level with Craig for a couple of years, and he, for me, is the face of the Club Sport team, and I've been so impressed by his level of commitment and integrity and so on, that for me, you know, I'm really comfortable that the whole team, you know, definitely has the heart in the right place. I just had to give a shout out to you, Craig. I'm sorry. I just
Good. I like it.
We did not even talk about this.
There you go.
I like
I just had to say it because it just comes in.
I am first.
Thank you,
All
Reggie.
right, AA, back to you.
All good. Well, this is my favorite part. I think I say that every time, but I feel like one of the gifts of filming What Lies Ahead for 18 episodes is it is had me slow down 18 times to think about what I'm thankful for. And during the last 6 weeks, that's probably been one of the most powerful pieces for me. So today, since we're in the East Bay, I'm going to be thankful for my large extended family. I come from a huge East Bay base, and they have inspired me, supported me, stayed in contact. I'm incredibly grateful. I'm close with all my cousins, aunts and uncles, and their babies. And I just want to say thank you to them, because they're a huge part of what helps me keep going every day. And my shout out is to actually a Facebook group. And there's a group on Facebook called Save Walnut Creek Restaurants. It's a little group that popped up 5 weeks ago. And I have learned about more restaurants in the area that I live in, and been able to support more places from the stories that people have been sharing, that I just want to give a little shout to them. I found a wine shop. I found a new Chinese food restaurant. There's all kinds of fun things that they're sharing. So, you know, in this time of having to get creative, I'm inspired by ways that people are coming together, and just want to say thank you to that little group on Facebook. So with that, Joanne, why don't I go to you?
Okay. So on the same note, I would say I'm so grateful for my husband and son. You know, we kind of work together anyway, but it is just an amazing that how much he loves to walk and hike with me now. It's just lovely. I'm also, my shout out is to a downtown Pleasanton small, it's a wine bar, but she's doing food now to basically support herself. She's a woman-owned business, and her son, who's my son's best friend, is a Marine. So she's a single, a woman-owned business that has a son who's serving in the military. It's called Cellar Door, and it's in downtown Pleasanton.
It's a great shout out. I haven't been to that one. We'll definitely be trying it. I did a Pleasanton shout out yesterday, so I'm trying to make sure I span the 680 corridor. Craig, I'll go to you.
Okay. I'm very thankful for my family. Obviously, I think I have two younger teenage kids, 13 and 14, and they've taken this really well. In fact, I think they actually like this better. And definitely my community. I was born in Walnut Creek. I've spent my entire life in the East Bay, outside college, and it's a great community to be in. I'm thankful to Bay Club, obviously, for just being a forward-thinking company, for expanding into the East Bay, and just even under times like this, keeping things creative and fun, and still, getting us to think outside the box, and just making sure that we are still pushing forward for whatever that means. That's really something to be a part of. And I will give my shout out to a place right near Bay Club Fremont called Curry Pizza House. So we all need comfort food in this time, and Curry Pizza House, they do pizza just a little bit different, and it's a really nice treat.
Awesome, thank you. Dr. Segal, I'll go to you.
Well, I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for the health of myself, family, and friends. And so far, we haven't seen the awful spread of this virus and the catastrophe as in other cities. So I'm really grateful both on a personal level and on a work level for this. I'm really thrilled to be able to spend as much time with my family as, this is the most time I've had with my kids, and the most time to do things with the family together in many, many, many years, actually. I think probably ever, because my life is typically really crazy. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm trying to learn new skills, and I'm so grateful to have the time to do that. Trying to learn to cook. I'm trying to learn to keyboard nicely on a computer, and I'm grateful to have the time to do that. And my shout out is to a local restaurant in Fremont, again, pretty close to Bay Club Fremont, called Spin a Yarn. It's owned by a guy who's a member of the club, a guy called Saki. And they've really gone out to deliver food to emergency room, first responders. They've sent out meals to hospital staff and so on. So he's really, put his heart and soul into trying to give back to the community. So it's my shout out to them. They are called Spin a Yarn, and it's like a continental Californian food steakhouse kind of place on Warm Springs Boulevard, not really far from Bay Club.
It's a great shout out. Thank you. Candy, let's go to you.
Sure, thank you. Well, of course, I'm super grateful for my family as well. I have 2 teenage daughters, Craig and I have that in common, and they've been so supportive of everything going on. It's been great to be with them more. But my real gratitude that I was going to express today was Zoom. Because if it wasn't for Zoom, I wouldn't be seeing my family, I wouldn't be seeing my coworkers, my friends. My kids are still continuing with their education because of Zoom. So it's kind of ironic, but I'm very grateful for Zoom. And then my shout out is to a very sweet family-owned business called Slow Hand Barbecue, and they're in our adjoining cities of Pleasant Hill and Martinez as well. But why I wanted to shout out that particular business is because over the Easter holiday, the owners of the company had reached out to several community members, and they put together Easter baskets for all the associates that had been affected by schedule change and things. And I was just so touched by that, and was able to contribute to it. And so they just deserve a big, shout out for all they do, and great food.
Great food. Really, really good food. George, I'll go to you.
Thanks, Danny. Having been locked in the house for the last month, I've done the majority of my workouts in the garage. And it just makes me appreciate Jason, his team, the the front desk attendants, the trainers, the locker room attendants, the relationships that I've developed over the last 23 years, many of those came from club sport, and I've been able to sustain those, and I really enjoy, I realize how much I miss those relationships. And as many have said, family, of course, we've never had so many home-cooked dinners together than we've had the last month, which has been awesome, but it does require a lot of food. So that's my shout out, is not a small business, but I think of the workers that are at Costco in Wilsonville. And usually on Fridays, that's my stop after the lunchtime workout, is to pick up food for the week. And a few of those workers have been members over the years too. So it's kind of an extension, and it's ironic because the location that Jason and I work out at is a former Costco. So those workers, they've been brave, they've been supportive, and they've been providing a lot of food for our family. And one last shout out to our dog, Bella, who's really the benefactor of all of this. She gets about 5 walks a day, and that's still not enough for her. She's standing right outside my office now, and it's time.
That's awesome.
Thank you for that.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so there's lots to be thankful for. Obviously, family, my fiance. He is a UPS driver, so thankful for delivery drivers at this time. All of that online shopping that we are doing because we can't get into stores, so definitely thankful for that. My shout out is to a small restaurant downtown Pleasanton. They opened in December and then also had a child in March. So Brava Garden Eatery, one of my good friends, they opened. It's a little Italian restaurant. They're currently doing family meals, so definitely worth a try. They have an Argentinian twist on it because they are from Argentina, so definitely worth trying, and a huge shout out to them.
Oh, thanks, Pippa. That's a great story. Jason, let's go to you.
My computer, can you see me?
Yep.
My computer just went off. I don't know what happened. So first and foremost, very thankful for the opportunity to represent Bay Club Portland and the company both on and off the clock. From a appreciation standpoint, obviously family, but I do want to give a shout out to my co-VP GM up in Portland, Michael Murphy, our wonderful team that is working very hard to represent the Bay Club from the Pacific Northwest to California. And then a shout out in regards to a small little restaurant that George is familiar with. It's called Lynn City in Westland, Oregon. So thank you, and sorry that you're looking at the side of my head right now.
It's all good. Boss, I'll hand it to you.
It's all good. It's all good. So George, Bella is your sidekick. My English bulldog walks in and out, decides whether or not he wants to be on camera or not every day. So he's definitely been my sidekick throughout this 45-day window. I think he's gained a few pounds, unfortunately, because he gets fed way too much right now. So, you know, my shout out is this is a new family to us. Actually had the chance to be on the phone with Steve Gilmore and Pat O'Brien the other day because they're, as I said, they're our landlord in Pleasanton, and we've got a friendly relationship with those guys. And I'm just so thankful to the team at Club Sport, both members and employees. You know, we had been side by side as companies for almost 40 years, and it's been a fantastic experience trying to get to understand the different cultures and figuring out how to do things correctly. We're so appreciative what a great situation we were able to partner up with. And, you know, we're working hard every day. We haven't gotten everything right every step of the way. And as you try to merge two families together, but we've been thrilled to be part of the East Bay and Oregon squads. And both from a member and an employee perspective, this has definitely challenged us to the length of our skill set of trying to figure out how to do this. And my shout out is thankful to the Club Sport family, both members and associates from that perspective. As far as a local shout out, I'm going to go, we got across the street from our office here at One Lombard in San Francisco. We've got a little seafood shop called Pier 23 that just reopened. And yesterday, my sister, who also hangs out here at the office with me, came in with New England clam chowder and crab cakes from right off of the water. And I was like, now that's some serious good stuff. So I was pretty happy. I had a big smile on my face. So Pier 23 gets a shout out from me today from that perspective. So AA?
That's a good one. That's incentive to get back to the city.
Mm.
So thank you. As we bring episode 18 to a close, I'd like to share a sentiment with all of our members, especially those that have taken the time to join us on What Lies Ahead and those that have written us. We have an intense gratitude, and a silver lining of all of this is that we maybe even feel more connected now than we did prior. There's been an opportunity to talk and listen and share ideas and collaborate, and that in of itself is a true gift. And so we look forward to the next episode of What Lies Ahead and sharing our plans with how we intend to open up with our entire membership base, and hope that everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you.